Welcome, guys. This is Glasgow Rangers Nation. I'm Aaron James, and this is your latest Rangers news, guys. We are out and about. We're not at home. No recording equipment. But still want to kind of bring you some thoughts, some updates, some bits and pieces. Knocking around. It's been quite a quiet weekend all in. Obviously building up towards the Panathinaikos game on the 22nd. That's the big one that is very much at the forefront of everyone's thoughts at this moment in time. And like I say, I'm not as confident as I was. But we'll see what happens on Tuesday evening. We've also got obviously the Middlesbrough friendly game on the 26th before the return leg in Athens against Panathinaikos, when our Champions League future will be decided. The destiny of this club this year, realistically in financial terms, I think will be very much heavily influenced by what happens in that tie. Look, a couple of things. We've got a bit of Ross Mccausland to talk about today. Possible moves away for wee Ross. I must have a few thoughts on that. Also, we've got obviously Middlesbrough is our kind of next open, I suppose, friendly in front of a crowd. Today, Rangers played another behind closed doors game. This time against Hamilton Academicals. Gotta say, I do remember back in the Sooners years losing 1-0 to Hamilton Accies, and it's sort of been a big cup shock at the time, and big cup set as it was called. I think as it's sort of modern day being called. I do remember that and feeling very, very down at that time when we lost 1-0 to them. But 2-0 today. Reports. I mean, look, there's no concrete reports on how the team played, on the form of any of the players, due to the fact, of course, that no one was there. That's the situation. There was no one there to report on it. No fan podcasts, no journos. It's behind closed doors. Russell Martin's used a lot of these behind closed doors games, I think, probably to try and take the pressure off the players and give them time to really bed in his style of play. Interesting. Once again, the team was exceptionally similar to the team that started against Dunfermline, again dropping a huge hint as to what the team will be on Tuesday. Jack Butland was in goal, obviously. Jack Butland does seem to be the preferred option as Rangers number one going into the new season. Liam Kelly obviously having sort of taken over a little bit last season. Look, I'm not a massive fan of Liam Kelly. I think he's a very solid backup, but certainly not a starter. The hope has to be that Jack can get back to the form that he had, not last season, but the season before. Hopefully, as well, he's worked on a bit of his footwork as well. We know that that's an issue for Jack, something he does need to develop. The back four, again, was James Tavernier at right back. Giga and Suter were the centre-backs, and Max Aarons played as a left-back. I've got to say, I do not like that in one way or at all. I mean, you look at the team in front of them, no left-footers, guys. It just has no balance for me. That's one of the big things, and for me, I'm a bit of a traditionalist. I like my teams to have balance. I like left footers to play on the left, at least, well, I'm not against the inverted wingers, the wingers cutting in, but I like the fullbacks to be left-footed on the left, right-footed on the right, so they can provide a width. That's what Ridvan and Yefte do when they play as left-backs. They get around the outside. When Cheney was cutting in, when Seaman, when he was here, when he was cutting in, Bayrami cutting in, whoever it was on that left-hand side, Hamza cutting in on their right foot, the fullback still gave width. It seems a bit like we're kind of saying that, Max Aarons has to play because he's here on loan. We've kind of promised him that he's going to play. He's going to be part of the plans. That's what we've said to Bournemouth. So we've got to kind of give him the opportunity to play. But yet we seem to be still crowbarring James Tavernier into the team. I personally wouldn't play Tav on Tuesday. I think he'll be found out. I think he'll be a liability at right back. I really do. I think, if you're going to play Tav, push him further forward. At the end of the day, the one thing Tav can do is cross the ball. He can't defend to save his life. He's one of the worst defenders in Scotland, yet he can attack and he can cross the ball. And for me, you just, I don't know. It just beggars belief. It really does. As for what the team in front of him, it to me seemed, again, lacks width, just lacked anything. I mean, yeah, we won 2-0, but it was not, at the end of the day, it's Hamilton. It's not, anybody decent. No offence to Hamilton. Rothwell, Diamonde, Raskan all started. Curtis, Danilo obviously played as well. Finley Curtis coming in for Asgard, who's obviously out injured at this moment in time. To me, again, it lacked a little bit of width. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I didn't watch the games. It just seems to. That's what I'm saying, because no Gassama, no Cortez. Cortez did come on in the second half, as did Bayrami. Gassama didn't feature. It does seem that Gassama will not feature in that first leg. Russell Martin said as much. He may be ready for the second leg. I still, to this day, don't know why Rangers can't just sign players and put them into the team, which every other team in the world seems to do. But It seems that Rangers, we can't do that. Don't know what it was. Cyril Dessers also came on in the second half. Yeah, Dessers is back. Great news. Danilo got 2 though. Fantastic. Finley Curtis got a start as well. So, look, Curtis seems to be really heavily featuring when he, this season. And I think I'm hopeful that Finley Curtis will get a lot more minutes this season because that lad is a top player. And I think someone who can make a big difference for Rangers this season. And like I've always said all along, it's nice to see one of your young lads come through youth system, establish themselves and make themselves a top line player. And I think Finley can do that. But 2-0 against Hamilton, it's a win. I think that's getting minutes into the players. That's what we've got to look at as. I can't tell you about how they played because I didn't watch it. It just seems like there's a lot of central midfielders on the pitch and a lot of, I think from what I kind of gleaned from looking at the shape of the team was that Raskan was pushed further forward with Curtis. We had Curtis one side, Raskan the other, and Danilo. That's how it seemed to be looking at the team. I mean, I might have been wrong. I might be wrong, but I'm just kind of trying to figure it out. Changes were made second half. Tav still started second half again. It is what it is, guys. I think no matter what you think of James Tavernier, the guy's going to start the majority of games again this season. To me, it's a mistake. It's a massive mistake. The guy's 2 seasons past his sell-by date. He really genuinely is. But there we go. Obviously, Ross Mccausland, who was left out of the squad for the Champions League. So there's a lot of talk about wee Ross exiting the club. And look, I'm not going to sit here and badmouth Ross. I'm not going to slag Ross off. I love him. He's a Rangers man. He loves our club. As he said himself after that League Cup final, the last time we won a League Cup, he was in the crowd as a fan, watching the game, up there with the Bears. He's a Rangers fan. That's what we've got to say now. It looks like he will depart this summer. 3 clubs are purportedly showing an interest in the player. Apparently 2 MLS clubs are interested in securing Ross's services. But one of these surprise clubs that are in for him is Aris Limassol. Yes, Aris Limassol of Connor Goldson, Leon Balogun fame. Are Aris trying to build Rangers B or Cyprus Rangers out there in Limassol? Could be a possibility with them interested in Ross Mccausland. Look, if we can get even $1 million, $1.5 million for Ross, that might be ambitious, I don't know. But any sort of money coming in for Ross, I think, will be a bonus. He's an academy grad. He's someone who's come through. I don't think this is going to be a loan move. I think this is going to be a permanent move away from the club for Ross. I just think there's a realisation there that although Ross tries and he gives his all for the club and he loves this club and it means everything to him, he just is not going to be of a standard to play for us, not with how the owners and Russell Martin to some extent want this club to go in terms of competing for trophies every season, doing well in Europe. So I do think Ross will leave permanently this summer. Like I said, Aris, the 2 MLS clubs maybe. The 2 MLS clubs have not been named. That is not clear who they are. So they're interesting moves. Look, certainly going to play in America may be very exciting for Ross and maybe something that he is looking at. But equally, reuniting with Connor and Leon might also be, massively attractive for him and, give him a nice way to sort of settle in. And let's face it, Cyprus is not the worst place in the world to live, isn't it? It's a bit warmer than Govan. So there you go. I don't know. I still rather live in Glasgow than live in Cyprus. That's just me there. I don't like the heat. Anyway, guys, look, it is what it is going into these games against Panathinaikos. I'm really intrigued to see the team, how it's named, who plays, who starts. The biggest positive coming out of this preseason so far is Danilo. The fact the guys hit the ground running, that he's fit, he's strong, he's scoring goals, he's sharp. That to me is the biggest positive. The big thing for me is seeing how we play, is seeing the shape of the team and how we line up. Cortez got on second half, but it seems that, like I said, the team that's been named the last 2 times is very similar. Very similar. The back 4, completely the same. Danilo at top, same midfielders, same everything. It does seem like that will be the team for that Panathinaikos game. And I get now also, the reason as well for playing it behind closed doors is that Panathinaikos can't send people to watch, etc., etc. So I don't know. They might have had scouts there. You never know. But there we go. So look, it is what it is, guys. It's going to be so interesting on Tuesday night to see how we line up in terms of the shape and the formation and how we actually play the game. Guys, give me your thoughts. I'd love to know what you're thinking. I genuinely would love to know where you are at, what you're thinking about the club at the moment. what you think about the team, the players, and where we're at this moment in time. Please let me know in the comments. And if you've enjoyed the content, like, comment, share, and subscribe. It's free here at Glasgow Rangers Nation. We do not charge you for that content. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you on the next one.